Okay, hello and welcome. Chris here, T-Titan, and in this video I want to walk you through the process of hiring your first designer. Now, as I've mentioned, this isn't the only way that you can create designs. You can also use the auto designer software. You can also use other sites other than Fiverr. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to run through Fiverr, although the process is probably the same even if you use another site. And even if you do create a design using Auto Designer rather than hiring a designer, I think it's useful to understand the process, um, just in case you ever need to use it in the future. And also, it's just helpful to at least write a brief to condense your own thoughts down and to understand the best way to create simple designs. So, before we think about hiring our first designer, we want to have our reference design, which should be proven and simple. So we've seen a design on another site. We now want to improve it, change it, and we've written a brief out that describes that process. Remember, reference does not mean steal, so we're not just going to take a design and copy it. That's not something that will work. It's not something I advise you to do legally, and it's not something I think that will generate the best results, either for in the short run or also in the long term for your business. So we definitely want to change several elements, look at the general spirit of why it works and extract that and turn that into a design, or indeed respin the design into something else and change some words. So let's go to Fiverr and we're just going to search for t-shirt design. So fiverr.com. What are you looking for? I want t-shirt design. I'll just click on that. And you can see that straight away we've got a list of lots and lots of people who do t-shirt design. I will create your professional Teespring design. Let's have a look at him. I will create an original professional t-shirt design. We'll open that in a new tab as well. I will do Teespring t-shirt design. I will draw a professional t-shirt design. That's interesting. He seems to be kind of more of an illustrator rather than just a designer. I think we might have opened him in another tab actually. Maybe not. Let's open this as well. And you can see how many there are. You've really got a lot of choices here. And I can keep on going through these. No doubt that a lot of these other people are good designers, but for the purposes of brevity, I'm just going to use some of these. So what we want to do is pick people with a good rating, 4.5 and above, and a turnaround time of under 3 days. Okay, so we don't want to be waiting around for 7 days or something for a design. So let me just return to our first person. I will create your design for $5. Let's check out his rating, 4.9. So that's certainly good enough. Very high rating. 2 days on average. So yeah, kind of okay. That not huge. Not ideally we'd want to see it a bit lower, but that's certainly fine. We can wait 2 days. That's not a problem. Average response time 3 hours. So obviously this person has got 20 orders in the queue right now. They do have a backlog, but they do respond quickly. So they seem quite a professional, reputable company. You can also see that sometimes they'll have add-ons and options. So let's see here. You will get delivery within 15 minutes. I think this is like an add-on package actually. I'm not sure if it's because I'm not logged in, it's not showing it. But this is like you might have to pay an extra $10 for it. You don't get actually a delivery within 15 minutes, I'm sure, which you can see up here. The average time is 2 days. But yeah, this one here, 4.9 feedback and 2 days on average, so that's fine. So we'd probably use this person, Kanchana616. So we'll allow that. We'll use him. I will create an original professional t-shirt design for $5. 4.8 stars, so pretty much the same. 3 days on average, which isn't quite as good, but again, 3 hours response time. It might even be the same person actually, so it looks like a pretty kind of similar setup. We don't want to overthink this too much because we're only spending $5 on a design. Okay, so here we go. If we hover over the order button, we can see the different options. Create 3 other designs, $20. Well, there's not a lot of point in that. Well, we can get one design done for 5. Accept a tip. Well, there's no point. Send a customizable source file. This is like if we were using Photoshop ourselves and we wanted to edit it, but I wouldn't recommend you do that. It's just not really something, doing your own design that I recommend. And if we just go back and just hover over this first person, you can see that he's got some add-ons as well. Deliver the vector file. Again, that's something like you could edit yourself. Create Facebook ad banner for your Teespring campaign. That could be useful, but probably we don't need to do that, especially with some of the software we've got. It's probably overkill. Deliver it within 15 minutes with the source file. We don't need 15-minute turnaround, I don't think. That's $20 anyway. And with a lot of these add-ons, what you have to be aware of is one of the reasons this works so well is because it's so cheap. So if you're spending $5 on a design, then you can do like 20 designs in like say 6 niches or even 10 niches. So you can get like 10 designs, 2 designs in 10 different niches. 20 designs in total for like $100. That's awesome. But then if you were to get an add-on, which would be like an extra $20 or $25, then you basically can only get 4 done for 100. So that kind of isn't what we want to do. We want to spend as little as possible per design, and then obviously if it works well, we can maybe look at some of these other upgrades or ask them to do that later. So we're not going to do the add-ons, but yeah, this person here seems okay. 3 days is kind of as far as we want to go, really. I will do Teespring designs for $5. Again, these all look fine. We don't want to kind of overthink it. 4.8 stars, so again, above 4.5 feedback, 3 days on average. Not as many orders in the queue, so this person might actually respond quicker. Don't really need to scan through this. You can see they've got the option to deliver within 1 day, but we're probably happy to wait 3 days actually. So this person's also fine. This may be the same person actually. No, I think it's a different person. 4.9, that's fine. 5 days is a little bit too much, so I'm probably going to say no to this individual. And then this last one here, again, 4.9 stars, 3 days on average, that's also fine. And again, we can get it done in 1 day for $20, whereas this person would do it in 1 day for $10 extra. And these first 2 people, I think, were kind of saying that they'll do it within a day. Although in actual fact, it doesn't seem like they're always, following through on that. Probably what happens here is there's a bit of a delay time between them sending the design, people marking the job as closed, and that kind of stuff. But anyway, we've kind of got, 1, 2, 3, 4 designers there. Who we're happy with. So you can see how easy that process was. We've now got 4 designers. We need to filter that down to 3. There are probably other designers, by the way, that I missed that, if I went through this and wanted to get a bit more anal about it, I could probably really drill down and find the best 3, but it's kind of not the major thing to find like the ultimate designer. That again, that's not the way that you need to approach it. You want a designer who's good enough. You want to test a few of them, and then really it's your design and your brief and your approach that will determine whether you get a good design, as much as the designer as such. What I like to do when I'm first approaching Fiverr, or indeed approaching any site in general with a freelancer, is I like to hire 3 people to do a small job. So in this case, and then we pick the best one, so we want to hire 3 designers and send your reference brief. You could obviously just send the same brief across, and get all 3 people to do it and pick the best one, which would probably be the fairest test, but I'm assuming you don't want to waste $10 and have the same design 3 times when you only need it once. So I'd probably suggest that you give them separate briefs, try and keep them simple, but give each person a different brief, and then you're going to basically pick the best one. So I'm not going to do it, but it's pretty simple. All we have to do is just go over to Fiverr, click on order now, create an account if you don't already have one with Fiverr. It takes 2 seconds. Pay with PayPal, or you can pay with other things, credit card or whatever. You'll get redirected to a page that will ask you to write your brief. Then just go over to our brief, which you've written like that. Just literally copy the brief, paste it into the thing, hit send, and within a day, within 2 days, you'll get a response back from the designer. Again, do not blame the designer, blame your brief. If you find that you're constantly getting really bad designs, and they are going to be simple, so don't expect anything that looks like, like the Mona Lisa or anything. It's going to be simple stuff, a basic t-shirt design, but if you do get a design back you're happy with, especially if you're unhappy with, especially if all three designers send you poor designs, and it's probably an issue with your brief not being specific. So I mean, if we just go and look, you'll see that that's like on the higher end of the design that you're going to get. Teespring doesn't actually do like fancy like metal style print stuff like that, but these are basically like the better designs you're going to get. You're probably not going to get a design as good as that. You're probably not going to get a design as good as that or that. The design that you're probably going to get, they won't look like this either. I'm just trying to find some examples. The designs you're going to get are going to look like that: text, text, and one image, all text. You might possibly get a design like, yeah, you probably get a design like that: 2 lines of text and an image. Um, 3 lines of text and an image, 5 lines of text and 2 images. Um, Maybe something like that. Probably not. That's probably too complicated. That might even be too complicated. That's quite simple. That's quite, so they are going to look kind of roughly like this. And that's why our brief needs to be like, text, icon, text, or create a design like this, but change the word New York to this and change this image to that. Um, you know, Something like this. It's all quite simple, and that's what you're basically going to get. So that pretty much covers this video of hiring your first designer using Fiverr. I suggest you stick with Fiverr until you get a profitable campaign. Once you get a profitable campaign, of course, you can go back. You can look at improving, paying more for a designer, going on Elance or Odesk or whatever, hiring custom sketch artists, being more detailed with your design brief and all these kinds of things. But I suggest that you either stick with Auto Designer or Fiverr until you get a profitable campaign. Keep it simple to start with, keep it cheap, throw out lots of designs, enter lots of niches, and then when you find one that works, then at that point you get clever and you start to spend more on designs. So hopefully this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.